Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of the Subscription Web Design Podcast. So, what happens if clients don't want to pay? What happens if you get a new subscription web design client, you build this gorgeous new website for them, and 2 months or 3 months or 4 months in, they say, "Oh, yeah, I don't want to pay for this anymore." And they turn off the credit card, stop paying or whatever. They now have this amazing website. You've spent all this time. They've ghosted you. The money is gone. You're not going to get paid for it. And what happens now? If you are concerned about this scenario, or you think that this scenario is something that is very, very likely to happen, then I want to reassure you a little bit in this podcast episode, okay? This is probably the question that I get asked most often by web designers considering the subscription model, okay? They wonder what happens when a client says, "You know what? I've got this great website now. Why would I keep paying you?" And they just simply go away. Well, this is, like I said, the question that I get asked the most often, but it's also the one thing of the many things I get asked. It's the one thing that has never happened. It's never happened. Now, have I had clients leave? Yes, of course. We all have clients who move on and go different places, and that can happen in the subscription model as well. I will say it has only happened twice in my business in a scenario where payments were still due on the website. And I've discussed in more private settings, like in our mentorship group, I've discussed some of the ins and outs of exactly what happened there and what those scenarios were. Suffice it to say, they were extremely different scenarios that were not what we're discussing here, okay? What we're discussing here is somebody who says, "Yep, I want to have my website. I've got it now. Why should I keep paying you?" And go away, all right? So, number one, let me just say, I have no experience of that happening in my 8 years now of running a subscription web design business, okay? So I get asked a lot about this, but it has not happened yet. Now, it's not to say that it couldn't happen, okay? It certainly could. And it's very important that you have a killer contract in place that is going to guard against scenarios like this. Your clients need to understand that when they are engaging with you, they are engaging with you for some minimum time period. And this is something with a service-based membership like Subscription Web Design that you're going to have to consider that admittedly maybe you wouldn't have to consider in other business models. Unless you've got like a template-based system where you only spend like 5 hours per client and you've got that thing really, really dialed in, to where you can create a website that is essentially just being rented from you. If you can do that, that's one thing. But if you are building custom websites, then you do have a minimum term that you're going to need to establish with a contract so that clients understand what they're getting into and what they're responsible for, and so that you understand what you're getting into and what you are responsible for. I do not recommend getting into subscription web design without a contract. If you would like to sort of have our contract template and know what to use there, go to subscriptionwebdesign.com. We do offer that template and some others as well inside of our membership. Okay, so you can go grab that over there and get into our group coaching and membership program. But you got to have a good contract. And actually, we did a whole episode here on the podcast for free all about web design contracts. And so you definitely want to go back and check that one out. If I remember to do it, I will link it up in the show notes. Okay, so you have to have contracts, and the purpose of contracts is to create the right expectations. Okay, so there are sort of two main things that need to be negotiated and figured out that have to do with the subscription mindset and the expectations around the project in terms of the money and the timeline and all of that, okay? Number one is you really want to create a relationship with your client that will last forever. And you want to sell that. You want to be upfront about that. You literally want to say, just as whatever fits your personality, you want to be as honest as you can. And for me, I literally say things like, honestly, like I'm getting into this with the intent that you will just pay me forever. I say that. I say, I really want you to pay me forever, and I want to provide an excellent website service for you forever, right? I want to have a team. My team is going to support you forever. You pay me forever, we support you forever. I mean, I go there and I'm willing to say that, and it fits with my personality, okay? If you don't want to say those exact words, you don't have to, but that's the idea. That's what I call the assumption of continuity. This idea that they are going to become a customer and then they are going to stay a customer. At the same time, because you do have a team, or maybe it's just you have time invested in actually building this website for them, you are doing a construction project, you do have to be paid a sort of minimum in order for that to make sense. And that's where my model comes in so heavily. If you want to learn about all the different subscription web design models, you can get that for free. Go to subscriptionwebdesign.com/5, F-I-V-E, spell it out. And you can go there and you'll put in your email address and we'll send you that video to show you the different subscription web design models that we have available. Okay. So I would encourage you to check that out. But in our model, we do the 18-month minimum, and then beyond that, they keep paying. And if they stay for 36 months, we will redesign their website. All right. So that's the way that we have decided to do it. So you have this expectation of unlimited continuity, that they're going to stay forever, but you also have the expectation that they're going to stay for a minimum of 18 months, and they're contractually bound by that. Just simply having a contract and speaking from that perspective as a business person, they will understand what they are on the hook for and how that works. Okay. So don't be worried about that. All right. And the last thing I want to say here, just kind of encourage you, is keep up the communication. Okay. Don't ghost them. Okay. Like, you're going to be billing them every month. Keep in contact with them. Okay. Send them emails weekly, at least, from your email provider. Okay. Send them weekly emails. Call them every quarter if you want to. Establish, I don't know, maybe send them a gift every once in a while. Just stay in touch. Keep in touch with your clients. Provide them a great service for the long term, and they'll stay with you for the long term. So don't worry about this scenario, this imaginary scenario where clients just magically don't want to pay and they get up and go off. I mean, if you're doing this right and you're hosting their product for them, which you should be hosting their website for them, with perhaps the exception of some extremely rare cases where maybe they've got a high volume site that needs to be on a proprietary host like WP Engine or something, and they set up that account. And I'm willing to go there in some cases, right? But for the most part, you're going to host the site. So it's not like they can just take the site and run. You can just turn that off. Okay. You can turn the website off if they try to run and ghost you and stop paying you. Okay. There's a mutual understanding that you're going to provide a service which they are going to pay for every single month. And because of that, I don't think you're going to run into this problem of what happens if clients don't want to pay for their website. All right. Once again, subscriptionwebdesign.com/5. I would love to give you that free training on the different kind of models if you're ready to kind of take the dive into subscription web design. Can't wait to see you over there, and you guys take care.